Welcome to Ultimate Playlist. I'm Matt. That's Briggs. And this is a show where Briggs and I get together to come up with the best 10 songs around a theme to create its ultimate playlist. Each one of us contributing our top 5. And today's big bad theme is the ultimate mid 90s one hit wonders. We've done early 90s, Briggs.
Yep, we have. Now we're
mids.
doing the mids. Yeah,
Doing on
mid
the mids.
90s. It's kind of a tight spread of years.
So how did you do? So I did 3, 4, 5, 6.
I did 4, 5, 6.
Ooh, so did we in the earlies? Did we do 90?
I kind of view it.
3?
So I think for early, I did. Yeah, I think 90 at 93 is kind of the border. Like you could go either way, early or mid. You know what I mean? And I think I picked the 93 for my early one, so I avoided it for the mid.
Oh shoot, I
did 4, 5, and 6. But I think 93 is fully acceptable.
Fully acceptable, but I might have picked one of your early 90s. That's quite possible that I did that because there's one kind of
so it goes. It's kind of a
song.
judgment call. It's kind of a judgment call of what constitutes the early versus the mid. I was kind of compartmentalizing it as 90 through soft 93.
Soft 3.
Mid is you can include the 3 if you want, but mostly 4, 5, 6, and then late. I would consider that as like 7, 8, 9 of the decade. That's how I broke it down anyway.
The problem here really is that you just can't easily break down a decade into 3 breaks. 10,
right? You gotta, you can do 4, 3, and 3. You gotta,
you gotta choose
do it that way.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's my difficulty. It was the math, really. Because we could do, 3 years and 4 months. Like we could do it that way, but that seems like a lot of work.
It's honestly a little excessive, yeah.
For what we're doing.
This is supposed to be fun, Matt.
It's supposed to be fun. Right. Shit. Okay, so should we go into your number 5 song?
Yes, from 1994. It's Possum Kingdom by Toadies.
Good one, and on my list. So we'll just get that shit right out of the way right now.
Right on. This is a good one. I always enjoyed this song. It's a cool vibe. It's kind of uncommon. It's got a little bit of an odd time thing going on. They do
7,
I guess 7 then 8. Gives it a little herky jerkiness, cool guitar sounds, cool like whammy bar guitar solo. I like the guy's voice. I like pretty much everything about this song. The record is recorded really well. I looked it up. It was mixed by Andy Wallace, so of course it's going to sound good.
Right.
I was listening to it. I'm like, man, this sounds good. And of course, anytime it's Andy Wallace, that guy's a monster.
Yeah.
One of the great mixing engineers ever. But so this is from their album Rubberneck, which is the second single on Rubberneck. I think this is their first full-length album. They had a couple of EPs before that.
Yep, that's right.
It's kind of a weird song about like a cult.
A cult somewhere around Fort Worth, where the guy's from, or something.
Yeah, exactly. There's a state park, I guess, called Possum Kingdom State Park, and there's a lake there. It's actually Possum Kingdom Lake, which is what this is kind of loosely based on. But I guess he used to go there with his family a lot growing up, so it was kind of in his mind. I guess it's kind of a creepy lake.
Yeah.
And this was I guess it's kind of a convoluted backstory to the song, but it's kind of the sequel to another one of their songs called I Burn.
Yep.
In which cult members self-immolate themselves, or they burn themselves to death, and then one of them comes back and kind of haunts the lake, I guess, and tries to recruit new people to come into the cult. I don't know. It's a cool, catchy tune, regardless.
It's a lot to work with, lyrically, but it's a catchy tune, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I guess Interscope is the record label that they were signed with, and Interscope treated this band kind of weird.
They did them dirty. Yeah,
there's that's thematic. Like there's a few of the bands in here that had this situation. So for some reason I don't know, but I'll talk about it on a couple bands. But anyway, so Interscope, they kind of refused to market the album until this song charted, and then they're like, okay, now we're behind you. And so they had to tour kind of relentlessly to support themselves. And they didn't even get back into the studio for another
a couple years later, right?
Until 97, and they recorded their second album, Feeler, which then Interscope refused to put out.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah. And so, okay, they kept touring, and then I'm sure they fought for a while, and then they got back in the studio finally in the year 2000 and recorded what was their third album, but only their second one released, which was Hell Below, Stars Above. And by that time, you know, they just didn't have a very good relationship at all with their band, and kind of went on hiatus for a while. But they did end up re-releasing, or actually releasing for the first time, Feeler in, I think, 2010. And I listened to it today, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a cool band. I mean, I guess it makes sense that it's Interscope's fault that they didn't have more success, because like you figured they would have a lot like more singles, you know, especially in that time period. You know, they're like the perfect band for that time period.
Grungy, but adjacent, not exactly.
Exactly. More broad appeal.
Right.
But still like cool and kind of edgy, you know, like a little weird and dark.
Yeah.
And rocking, like cool, like good fuzz tone guitars, you know, that kind of stuff.
Feeler definitely has some oddity to it. You listen, I think you would like it, because there's a lot of it's just out a bit. Even in their chord progressions, there's a harshness to it, but I liked it. I listened to probably 5 or 6 songs on the album today. I was like, there's no reason why this shouldn't have. I mean, I can understand it wouldn't have had the same radio play, but it's a cool album. It's cool. Right. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe, especially as a follow-up, you know, they got a bunch of fans from being on tour, opening for a bunch of bigger bands, and then this song doing really well. Right. Having their I think their fan base who liked the band would have heard the second album and been like, this is what, it might not have sold 1 million or 2 million copies or something, but the fans would have liked it, I think. So anyway. Yeah.
These guys rock. Yeah, I know. It's too bad. I saw them back in the day, and they rocked.
Like Lollapalooza or something? Where'd you see them?
No, they were opening up for Butthole Surfers, actually. So
Butthole Surfers were bigger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't know that. That's
and
crazy.
they're both Texas bands, you know, so there's like a Texas connection.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I was like, wow, these guys rock, you know. So it's a shame that they kind of got a raw deal from Interscope.
Yeah.
Who knew, Matt, that record labels screwed people over?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's unfortunate because it's a cool band and they could have done a lot more. But yeah, I think it was the bass player who resigned from the band.
Yeah,
after the what's her name, Lisa something or other.
Yeah, right.
And then Lisa Umbarger or Umbarger, I don't know how to say it. But the singer, he kind of considered her like the core of the band. It was the two of them that started the band, and when she was all set with it, he basically broke up the band rather than continue on with someone else.
That's right.
And then they reformed years later or released the album years later, whatever. But
and did a couple
he's
more.
Still active. Too. He's got other projects and stuff. So he still does music. But kind of a shame about the Toadies. They should have been bigger than a one-hit wonder, I feel like.
I agree. Yep. But here we are.
And I think it's just Toadies, not the Toadies.
Yeah, you said I didn't want to correct you there. I didn't want to be
too
please
pedantic. Please do.
but right, Toadies. Not the best name either.
No, it's a little weird.
Toadies. It's like I don't know. Isn't that like a toady is like is that where you put your beer in or something? Is that what that is?
That's a koozie, isn't it?
A koozie, yeah. Well, maybe for you Northerners.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know, something like that. Or like it's a tote, something I don't know, you wheel your bag in or something.
Yeah, a person who flatters another in the hope of receiving favors. According to Merriam-Webster. Yeah, according to Merriam-Webster.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's kind of dumb for a Texas like hard rock band, I think. They could have done better with that.
I guess is a synonym.
I see. Cool. Anything else with the Toadies, or can we move on to my number 5?
It's just Toadies, but
I'm sorry.
Other than
I did that to myself. Shit. All right. My number 5 is Slam by Onyx.
Good one.
Thank you.
I like Onyx. I enjoyed this song. Those guys sound like they're having a lot of fun on this song.
A lot of fun. Yes. And story goes they were on LSD the whole time, so maybe
Oh, really? Well, that makes
contributed
sense.
to the
Yeah.
fun. But
Doesn't he
this
say it in the song? There's a part where he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so high" or something.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah. So Slam by Onyx released in May of 1993. So this is the borderline. But if
Yeah.
we did it by months, it would definitely
You're
fit.
still in. Yeah, you're still in the
over.
second third of the decade.
Second third of the decade. Slam on it hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and which is crazy for this type of song.
Yeah.
But it was everywhere and huge, and the album and the video was everywhere and huge.
Yep, totally.
Album hit number 17. It's from Slam is from their album Back to Fuck Up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I had this on cassette.
I don't know that I ever had it.
I'm
not
sure.
sure.
I had it.
Yeah. But a very interesting. So two of the group was 4 guys. It was Fred Rostar, Big DS, Suave, and I think Jeff Harris was their producer. And they're hanging around at a Greek festival in Jones Beach, which I think is coast of California, somewhere, I don't know, LA area. And they run into Jam Master Jay and like convince him to accept their demo. And he's like, but they didn't have it yet. They didn't have it yet. And said, hey, can we send you a demo? And he's like, all right, if you get it to me in 2 months or less, I'll listen to it. And that's kind of a weird parameter. It's like,
yeah,
you have 2 months to get it to me, but maybe
it's kind of weird.
Maybe like that's the extent of my memory. After that, I won't know who you are or something.
Right.
Got this 2-month cliff or something. So it says, 2 months, give me a demo. But the problem was the guys that they were going to go into the studio to record, they didn't have the recording yet. So they were going to go into the studio, but the 2 of the band members were stuck in Connecticut when they were supposed to go in the studio. So it's only Fredro. Is that what his name? Fred Rostar. He's the only guy in the band that's like ready to record. And Harris, their producer, said, wait a minute. I know this guy, Sticky Fingers. He's great. Let's bring him in. And they go in and they cut 2 tracks. And I guess they're awesome. Send it to Jam Master Jay, who loves him and signs them. But basically, he says, like, Sticky wasn't a full-time member of this band, but Jam Master Jay is like, no, you need Sticky.
You got to have that guy.
This isn't happening. So
right.
So there you go. And meanwhile, the other problem they had was their second, maybe there's a second producer, sold this is why they had to go in the studio, because their original producer had all the recordings and drum machine, and he sold all the equipment to go sell crack or something up north in Baltimore. Ends up getting shot and killed in Baltimore. So they had a rough start, but found a new producer, started fresh, Jam Master Jay, in the studio with them, Back to Fuck Up comes out. You got some Onyx. They've got like 13 albums too, which is
what?
A lot. I mean,
that is a ton.
A lot of albums, but just one hit.
What? I had no idea that they had so many albums.
No, I couldn't have.
This is the only one that I've ever heard or heard of.
Yeah, I don't know anything else that they did. Or
they consistently put out records.
Yeah, I mean, I think even now.
Like now. Their last one was in 2023, it looks like.
That's right. Yeah. I think they did. They were kind of prolific in the 2020s. I think they maybe have 3 albums or something, 2 or 3 albums, right? So yeah. But that's Onyx. That's Slam. That's a great song.
It's a good tune. Classic 90s.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we move on to your number 4?
Yes. My number 4 is Lucas with the Lid Off by Lucas.
I'm too cool to have a good time, but really I'm a muted trumpet type of talk away. Hey, move to the front, take it off, catch the vibes. Cause it's Lucas with the lid off. Catch the vibes. Oh, cause it's Lucas with the lid off. Catch the vibes. Oh, cause it's Lucas with the lid off. Sound.
Yeah, there you go.
You remember this one?
I do. Yeah, that's a sick sample. That's such a sick sample.
It's from Benny Goodman, When Buddha Smiles.
Yeah.
1935 song. That's a pretty old sample. It's cool.
So good. Yeah.
This is kind of from the era where people were incorporating a lot more like jazz samples into hip hop and whatnot, and older stuff. But this is a good example of it, I think. He's actually Danish, Lucas Sakon, I guess is his full name. But no, but he went by Lucas. This is off of his second album, Luca-centric from 1994. This was a top 40 hit. I remember it mostly from the video, which we can talk about in a second. But this went to number 29 on the Hot 100,
Surprising.
which I was surprised. I know it got like a decent amount of play on MTV, and the music video was pretty innovative, directed by Michel Gondry of video fame and other things. And it was like a one-shot thing. It was like this weird black and white set, and they're in some kind of crazy house, and the camera's just kind of panning all around. And then in each new set, Lucas will show up and be rapping and whatnot. And then there's all this other crazy stuff going on, and it's just one camera shot the whole time, no edits, nothing. And I guess they had to do 17 takes of it, and then they got it. But it was, I mean, it was. I remember watching the video, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool!" Because you can tell that it's just one shot. They're obvious about it.
Right.
There's like spots for where the camera needs to end up. Like you can see all like behind the scenes a little bit too.
Yeah.
As they're running around, it's cool. It got nominated for a Grammy Best Video. But it's Michel Gondry. He's kind of like one of the kings of videos. He did all those Bjork videos and everything else.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And what was his film? He did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I think
was that him?
I think so.
Huh. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
That might be his only.
I think that's his only. It's certainly
crazy.
The most. Yeah.
Because that's a good movie. I like that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I
wouldn't have been able to. He did a ton of music videos.
He did. Yeah.
And commercials. Like he kind of is more like a short form guy.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But this was kind of a cool, pretty unique sound.
Super unique.
Lucas with the lid off. I had this album too. I thought it was a pretty cool album. I wonder if it holds up. I haven't listened to it.
Did he do anything else after this? I mean, obviously.
Yeah, he's a producer actually. So he's worked with a ton of like big names.
Yeah.
Let's see where. Oh yeah. So written and produced for Pussycat Dolls, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Kylie Minogue, Toni Braxton, Mos Def, like tons of people, right? So I think he stopped rapping after a while or doing his own thing and just went straight to writing and producing, which is it's probably more lucrative and steady,
Yes, right. Yeah.
But yeah, he's cool. And that was kind of a unique nugget in the one-hit wonder world, I feel like, of the 90s. Lucas with the lid off.
Sounds different than most of the other rap that's happening.
Totally.
It's more of a positive rap. You had a lot of gangster rap at this time.
Right.
So kind of a refreshing change from that. Yeah, that's a good one. Cool.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to my number 4?
Yes.
Spacehog in the meantime.
Awesome. This one's also on my list. Spoiler alert. No, probably not a surprise to you. I mean, this song rules. I think it's a great nugget. This is another band that I'm surprised didn't have more hits, because this one it's got hooks for days. It's really catchy. It holds up well.
Yes,
one of the classic bass lines of the 90s for sure. Like this guy's a pretty good bass player, man.
Yeah,
Royston Langdon is his name. Notably was married to Liv Tyler, I guess.
That's right.
The nugget about him. But yeah, Spacehog.
Yeah.
Formed in New York City by 4
Brits.
Englishmen who happen to be living in New York City. But yeah, it's got a Bowie, T-Rex kind of vibe, which I appreciate.
Absolutely.
And this was a top 40 hit too. Went to number 32 on the Hot 100. And I think it topped the mainstream rock chart as well.
It did. Yeah. That's why I was surprised that it only hit 32 on the Hot 100, but it's just because of the stations we were listening to, it was all over.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Totally.
It was number 1 in that mainstream rock. The album only charted to 49, which was another surprise for me too, because the song was so big, it seemed.
Right. And everyone was buying albums at this time too.
They really were. Yeah. But still a major hit and a cool song. I mean, they had another situation too. They were dropped by Elektra like Elektra Records, I think, after their second album, and that was it too. I mean, they had this thing, and they seemed like a better band. They seemed like they were a better band, that they should have stayed around, but they were always a supporting band. Very similar, to this Toadies thing. They're kind of parallel in that way, which is very strange, because two good bands that hold up, that sound good, that did a lot of touring and a lot of supporting, were supporting acts all over the place.
Right.
Had a hit, did a follow-up, wasn't really supported by their record company, dropped, and then, kind of moved on. But
seems kind of strange with all like the other like Britpop stuff going on at the time, like Blur, Oasis or whatever, because they're in the zone, they look the part, they sound good, they rock. Like it was, it seems weird that they didn't have more staying power. They did like 3 albums though, right?
I think so. I think they're second, and then they maybe released the third on another
the third one has a funny name. It's called like the Hoggacy or something like that.
Oh yeah, actually, I think they've done. Yeah, they changed their sound too. I listened to a little bit of the Hoggacy, right? Because Spacehog, the Hoggacy.
Yeah, it's like the Odyssey, but the Hoggacy.
I listened to that. It was a little bit glossier. The third album, I was like, wasn't really into it. I listened to a bit of that today. It's very polished and more poppy, less gritty.
Gotcha.
And I think because I think that happens right around the turn of the century, so maybe around 2000 or
2001.
Okay, yeah. So the sound changes, because they're still, when they release this, it's 1996, so it's just at the tail end of grunge. So you still have that very fuzzy guitar thing.
Right.
It stops being that by the third album. It's a lot cleaner and glossier. So I think after that, what is there? The Hoggacy. Yeah. I guess they did I tried to find it, but I guess they did a cover of Thus Spake Zarathustra too, and like a funk version of that. But I looked quickly and couldn't find it. I don't know.
Interesting.
I love those.
I don't think I ever. Yeah, I never listened to the Hoggacy.
Yeah, I checked it out today because I was curious. Because I was like, I think this is a band that I would like. Like, how do I not know any of their other stuff? Yeah. Meanwhile, our good buddy Eamon says, "Love Lucas with the lid off." Great callback.
Oh,
yeah, it's a really great one. So just another band that's like they should have formed up and done a super group together and like really
exactly right.
I don't know, something. But yeah, I like that song a lot. I also want to say, maybe we'll talk about this more, I think, but I had a hard time finding songs in this time period. A lot harder than the early 90s.
Yep. There's a lot of one-hit wonders from this time period, but they're just kind of shitty.
They're really bad.
There's a lot of bad ones. We can talk about that later. Or just a lot of songs that I don't like, there's some kind of novelty-ish songs. I guess you can, talk about it later, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't as dense as some of the other time periods of the 90s. I think both early and late 90s had a better choice.
Absolutely. So maybe it was more about the bands who were, I wonder if it's because of the transition of grunge. It's like people, people who were coming up and had that grunge sound were no longer going to be a one-hit wonder because people weren't looking for that anymore. Right. It was almost like we needed the new sound to happen.
Yeah, and it took a couple of years, and then boy bands got big.
Bands, Britney Spears, all that. Yeah, right. So it's very strange because I saw a list. I looked after 96 as well, and I'm like, these songs seem better. And then we already did the early, which I had no problem. But this one, I was like, most of these I don't really like. Okay. So anyway, enough that. We'll talk about the bad ones for sure.
Right on.
Shall we move on to your?
Sure. My number 3. Yeah. Here Comes the Hotstepper by Onyx Kamoze.
Here come the Hotstepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Still love it like that.
Cool one.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, it's catchy. It's so catchy, and this was huge, unavoidable. So it was a #1 hit. Yeah. From Onyx Kamoze.
What a weird name.
I know, he's Jamaican. But yeah, it is an odd, uncommon name. But this is the lead single from this album. Here Comes the Hotstepper. Everyone knows the na 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 part, and it's I don't know. I mean, it's dense with samples. And then he's got a cool voice, and he's doing his thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a classic of the 90s from my perspective.
Dude, my memory is so messed up about this song. When I was we were listening to it just now, the na-nas I thought was a major third, but it's not. It's a minor third harmony over it. And I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And then I didn't even I forgot all about the chord. There's a chord progression there too when he starts. No. Because there's the bass line is like, outlining a chord progression. It's not just like like vamping on one chord the entire time.
Right.
Which is like, how do I not remember that? It's so weird. How memory
it's a long
works.
time ago. It's almost 30 years ago.
Oh, so old, Brigs. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know, time moves forward.
Great. But a good one, and that was everywhere.
Yeah, it was a #1 hit all over the world, like Denmark, New Zealand, Zimbabwe. Top 10 hit in 13 countries.
Wow.
It was just a big worldwide smash.
So what happened to him?
I don't really know. I think he just never achieved the same success. I think he's still doing stuff. Or he did for a while anyways. Trying to think. Yeah, has albums. His newest album is from 2016, so he's
relatively recent.
His first album is from 1984, so the guy's been around forever. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, self-titled. But Here Comes a Hotstepper clearly was his biggest one.
Yeah.
And then he had another one called Lyrical Gangsta, which came out around the same time, 95, I think. Also,
it's kind of like the let's twist again thing.
Yeah, totally.
Trying to capitalize on the first one.
Might as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think stylistically it would be hard for him to I should listen to the album sometime and just say, well, how much range does this guy have?
I don't think it's all that much. I think it's all in the same zone. He's technically a dance hall artist, which is that genre. But I don't know. He had one good one for sure. I mean, it's so catchy, and it will be stuck in your head.
Yeah, from now on to now I'm gonna. The problem is the minor third. Na 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 is gonna haunt me, and my head's gonna keep going back to it, and I probably won't sleep tonight. Thank you, Brigs.
You are welcome.
Shall we move on to my number 3?
Let's do it.
I wish by Skee Lo.
I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and 6'4" and baller. I wish I was like 6'9" so I can get with Leo. Cause she don't know me, but yo, she's really fine. I see her all the time, everywhere I go, and even in my dreams, I can scheme a way to make her mine. Cause I know she's living fat. Her boyfriend's tall and he plays ball, so how am I gonna compete with that? Cause when it comes to playing basketball.
Did you pick this in the early 90s?
I picked this one for it was the rap samples, best use of samples one. I do like this song. It was on my short list. I didn't pick it because I had picked it before, or that's one of the reasons anyways. But yeah, it's a great song. I like Skee Lo quite a bit. I think this is still the only song I've ever heard from him, but it's a good one.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. So, actually I thought it was 93, but it's not. This was 95. So squarely within the range, Brigs.
Yeah, counts.
But another one, just like Lucas, where it's a positive, uplifting song. So it's going to stick out in the midst of all the gangster rap that's happening at the time. And this one, it's just so catchy with the upbeat, cymbal work and the great sample and his flow. It's so good.
Totally.
Yeah,
it is really good.
Self-deprecating. He's just making fun of himself and whatever. It's a great one. But the reason why we didn't really hear from him is because he says that his record company, again, screwed him over, and he didn't see a dime from this album. He said, I didn't make any money from this album. And so he quietly retired because he didn't want to produce any more records for them. He went on to, in 96 or something, he was a VJ for a while for MTV, and he did other stuff. But until he got free of his record company, he didn't produce any more records. And I think he only has 3 out. I think he did one in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, 2012 I think was his most recent one.
Yeah, did he do it 2005 or something as well?
2001. So he's got 1995 and then 2001 and 2012.
Yeah, so I mean, he seems like a good guy, and like
Yeah.
he seems like he was on the right side of that too. And I mean, you didn't hear him like there wasn't any like big public feud or anything. He just sort of stepped back and said, "I'm not going to play that game." I mean,
yeah.
What did he say? He said,
doesn't want to work for free or whatever.
Yeah, basically, I refuse to shoot any more videos or promote the record. I'm not their slave. I wasn't going to work for free, which makes sense. So
yeah.
Screw you guys. I'm out of here.
Well, it's a shame. Once again, we got kind of robbed from potentially some more good stuff from Skee Lo.
Yeah, he's a good rapper.
He's good, yeah.
It's a great song.
I would have enjoyed more Skee Lo.
And I guess we could go back and listen to what happened in 2001. Maybe it is good, but by that time, I mean, his the arc had
has passed, completed,
yeah. Right. So, it's not like something we would have known, I guess.
Right.
Below the radar. But yeah. Good song. Like it very much. That is my number 3.
It's a good one.
Shall we move on to your number 2?
My number 2 is Return of the Mack by Mark Morrison.
Yeah, just missed my top 5. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's a really good song.
Voice.
He definitely does. Uncommon voice, really cool sounding. Great vibe on this track. This was a big hit too. This was number 2 on the Hot 100.
Yep.
I think he did better overseas. He's British. I think he's born in Germany, but he's from England. Yeah, German-born British singer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't sound like it. Sounds American.
I mean, a lot of people sound American when they sing, and then there's Americans that sing in a British accent too,
That's true. But yeah,
this was a good one. This is actually the 3rd single from his debut album, self-titled Return of the Mack. This one has a cool sample. It's the Genius of Love by Tom Tom Club. So like the beat is sampled from that. You definitely know the song. You've heard it.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been sampled a million times also, so you've heard it in other stuff too. Tom Tom Club was Tina Weymouth and Chris France from Talking Heads, their other band. And that it was, if you heard the song you would know it. But yeah, and then there's a couple other samples in there too, but that's the most prominent one, I think. I think Mariah Carey Fantasy or something also sampled Genius of Love.
Oh, interesting.
But it's been sampled tons of times.
They have a very Dre Chronic vibe to me. You know what I mean? Like with the way the sample is and how it's
okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, that was that time too, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But a very good one. He's got such a cool voice.
Yeah.
Just sort of unusual, very distinct, and fits perfectly over that song. It's a great one.
Yeah, agreed. And he never really achieved the same heights, firmly in the one-hit wonder category, unfortunately, because I would have liked to hear some more songs. I like this song. It's got such a good vibe through the whole thing. Like, it's, laid back, good bass part, cool samples, cool voice. There's a lot to like. It makes sense that this was a big hit. It was a big hit all over the place.
I should have listened to the album too. It's probably full of this type of music, which I like. It's probably very similar all the way through, which I dig. So yeah, I should check that out sometime.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever did it. I don't think I owned it.
I don't think I did either. I think this is, same.
High school dance or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was all over the place.
Yeah. Cool. That's a good one. Do you want to so my number, which I'll go on to my number 2.
Sure.
My number 2 is that we already did this. This is Possum Kingdom by Toadies. Yep. But so instead of doing that, do you remember the Whoomp There It Is? What There It Is thing?
Uh-huh.
Do you well,
what? There's 2 songs. There's Whoomp There It Is and Woot There It Is. Is that what you're talking about?
Here's Whoomp.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Tag team, right?
Tag team, right. And then there's Woot. Did you know about that?
Yes.
I
remember reading about it.
In my head.
I don't know if I knew about it at the time, but I've certainly read about it afterwards. But But yeah, Whoop There It Is was bigger for sure.
But not by much. We're talking
Really?
about a number 2 hit versus a number 11 hit, dude. So these things must have been on the radio concurrently because they came out within 2 months of each other. Woot was first, Whoop was second, and Woot was like, we're from the same area. They knew what we were doing,
Right?
But so this must have had radio play at the same time. I must have heard both as a kid.
I must have just conflated them.
Thought
yeah,
that they were the same song.
It's the only way because I definitely remember the Whoop There It Is.
Yes,
but it's got it's got the really memorable opening line, right? Like tag team back again, right. You know, like so that's that was just catchy. But yeah, that is kind of weird.
It's very weird. I feel like I should have known that. Like I'm in some sort of alternative. Like I've just gone through some sort of black hole and. And I should have recognized as a kid, but I didn't. So did I time travel? Did I move to a different universe, Briggs? I don't remember this at all. It's crazy.
Apparently they had like a battle on Arsenio Hall. He had both of them on there to play their things, and then let the viewers vote on their favorite.
It's the same song though,
via a 1-900 number, which is so 90s.
It's so 90s.
Yeah.
Only $5 for the first minute.
Exactly.
Vote for your favorite Wooterwump.
So. They at the time, I guess both record labels said that it was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Come on, it's like exactly the same.
It's really the same.
But the 95 South are the folks that did Woot.
That's
there
right.
It is, and they still say that Tag Team ripped them off, which
seems it.
Yeah. Well, at least Woot There It Is was also a minor hit or decent hit actually.
A big hit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like this is where it
that's
gets
crazy that it went to number 11.
Woot There Is 95. Woot There It Is 95 South number 11. Yes. The crazy thing is, so Woot recorded first. But Whump came out first.
Weird.
So there was just like, for some reason, there was a little bit of delay on getting Woot out there, but then they
Gotcha.
did. So there is a little bit of weirdness around that, but Whump had to have, because they were in the same area, like they knew the same people. The guy from 95 South says I played it for them. Like what the?
Well, there you go. It sounds like it was ripped off for sure. It's exactly the same.
But it makes sense that both record companies would be. Well, I guess both. Yeah, because it's so weird. Both record companies are just like, well, they're both hits.
Yeah, I know. We're both making money. Let's just let it ride, you know.
Let it go.
I mean, just talking about it kind of promotes both songs too, you know.
Absolutely. But I must have heard both songs on the radio.
Yeah,
I thought that's
was the
funny.
Same thing.
That is
yeah,
weird.
Same, right.
All right. So so anyway, my number 2 we'd already talked about, with Toadies Possum Kingdom. So I guess we're on to your number 1.
My number 1 we've already talked about also because it was In the Meantime by Spacehog. So I guess we're at your number 1.
Yeah, and we're my number 1. Well, this is Cannonball by the Breeders. There you go.
Good one. Really good. I guess I just, in my brain, I don't think of Breeders as a one-hit wonder band, you know, but I guess technically they are.
I mean, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw them on the lists, you know, and it's just, I guess in my mind, they're not, but
it's because they're kind of
what's another song, right?
Well, yeah, but they're kind of a super group, right? Because you've got members of the Pixies. You've got Tanya Donnelly, who was one of the original members, at least.
She was in it for a minute,
or so. Right before this album, she was in it. Of Throwing Muses, and then what did she do after that? She did Belly, I think.
Belly,
was her band after that.
Also, could be considered a one-hit wonder band. Belly.
Yeah,
they had that.
Just
Feed
like
the
Geppetto?
Tree. Feed the Tree, was that their song?
Feed the Tree. I thought it was just like Geppetto, but that might be a different band. I'm just recalling that now. I can't remember.
Huh.
What did Belly do? I remember that happening too. My buddy Corey was a huge Belly fan, and I was like, okay, I mean, they're fine, but what? Why are you so into Belly, dude?
Yeah, Feed the Tree. That was their song.
What song? While you're doing some looking around, who did the song "Just Like Geppetto," like the Puppet Master Geppetto? I swore it was Belly, but now I guess I'm remembering something different because now I can't hear that song.
Geppetto by Belly.
Boom!
So there you go.
That I wonder if that because that's the one that I remember from like MTV and
Oh,
and
okay.
radio. Yeah,
I remember Feed the Tree. I don't remember Geppetto. I'm sure they had a video for Geppetto.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
can't remember the first one, but maybe I would know it if I heard it. Did it get radio play?
Yeah, it had a video.
So
like I never had the album, but I know the song, so I must have heard it on MTV or radio.
So maybe they're not a one-hit wonder then if they've got both of those. I imagine Geppetto charted because it was all over the place.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s. It must have been mid-90s. I must have been in high school.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Craziness.
1993 was when their album with Feed the Tree came out.
Oh, so that's why she left. That's why she wasn't doing breeder stuff because she went on Did Belly. Yeah. Because 93 is when Last Splash, the Breeders' no, it wasn't their second album came out. And originally they called themselves the Boston Girls Supergroup. And then and they went and recorded their first album, which was called Pod, in 1990. Yeah. They had $11,000 and 10 days to do it. And I listened to that today because I was like, do I know any? Because Kurt Cobain loved that album. He said it was one of his 50 favorite albums. And it's a
pretty good album.
And it's why he had them tour with them, which I've mentioned this before, but that's how I saw the Breeders, as they were opening for Nirvana when I saw them when they came north. Yeah, it was great. I remember I listened to Pod today. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. It's I like it better than Last Splash, honestly. It's out there. It's more out there. And they do a bitchin' cover of Happiness is a Warm Gun. If you have not heard that cover, it is awesome. It's a really cool one.
Yeah.
But this is a great song. I love how they just it's not like it's hard. It's like it's quirky and they do cool things that you wouldn't expect. The bass that starts it being a half step down from the song. So they kick in, hitting it twice, they kick in the half step up, and you're like, oh, that's a nice little lift there.
Yeah.
And just Kim Deal's a singer, bass player. Her sister's name is Kelly?
Kelly. They both play guitar. They both play guitar in Breeders.
That's right.
Kim Deal is bass player in Pixies.
But Kelly's the lead guitarist after.
But she didn't know how to play guitar.
Know how to play guitar, but she does the woo-doo, woo-doo, woo-doo. Yeah. I mean, that's a cool idea.
I think like Kim taught her how to play guitar or something. I mean, Kim Deal is one of the coolest people ever, for sure.
She's pretty cool.
She's pretty damn cool. But yeah, I mean, Kelly Deal's fine at guitar, she got there, right? So
she got there. She did what she needed to do.
The whole Last Splash album's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I like it. There's some good tunes on there. Pod is good. But then they went on like a long hiatus, right? And they came out with some albums later on. Pretty good, actually. That Mountain Battles album, that was a good one.
I don't know.
It's from 2008.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Well, they had drug and alcohol problems. Both the Deal sisters had to go to rehab. In fact, Kelly got busted, so they had to go on hiatus right at not long after this. It's something like 1994 or something.
Yeah.
They have to go on hiatus because Kelly gets busted and they both have to go to rehab. So that kind of takes them out of things. I mean, they probably could have had a bigger career as the Breeders if that didn't happen. Like if they had their shit straight, which is too bad. Because I really like Pod. Like I said, I was listening to it today. And Last Splash is good, and this is a great song. I'm sure they would have had other pop hits. And because it's not grunge, it doesn't fit in that. It just fits as an alternative band. And that carries forward past the mid-90s, I think. So kind of a bummer.
Especially if they became more established as, a more popular band, then they could have kept on doing that. It's a shame, but they kept doing music. And then ultimately, like Pixies got back together, and then Kim Deal was on tour with Pixies for a while, and then I think she quit or left, or I don't know how it shook down. But then they got a different bass player. But too bad because Kim Deal rocks.
She's great. The Pixies aren't that interesting to me. I like some of their songs.
Oh, really? Okay, I like that band a lot.
Do you? Damn.
Also, it's just Pixies. It's just Pixies.
Oh, shit.
It's not the Pixies.
Talk to the Toadies.
Yeah, right.
You should recommend an album for me to listen to the Pixies.
I mean,
I'd love
Surfer Rosa. Surfer Rosa's one of the classic ones. I mean, I like all of their stuff, really, but Surfer Rosa's got a pretty raw vibe to it.
Yeah.
I think that one was recorded by Steve Albini.
Yeah.
And so was Pod. So if
Pod
you like that kind of,
it sounds better than you would expect to with that tight of a budget in that short a time. Like it's
pretty. Steve Albini.
It's got to be why. I mean, It's pretty good. So
Mhm.
video's iconic too. Spike Jones, Kim Gordon joint. Just very home video-ish and weird and eclectic. So
Really suits the song though.
suits the song. It's just an odd song, but
Yeah,
yeah.
good one.
I think that's it. Yeah, they released 2 songs or 2 albums in like the late 90s, I think, right? And then one in 2013. And I think that's kind of been their thing. But this is what Kurt Cobain had to say. So the main reason I like the Breeders is for their songs, for the way they structure them, which is totally unique, very atmospheric. I wish Kim was allowed to write more songs for the Pixies because Gigantic is the best Pixies song and Kim wrote it.
Yeah, I mean,
he loved her. Yeah.
Yep, she's pretty great. I mean, Gigantic is a really good song. Might not be my favorite Pixie song, but it's pretty damn good.
That Where's My Mind song is a good one.
That's great.
Classic. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So what are some that are decent? So I had the songs that I have in the decent are like they're in other, I wouldn't have listed them, but because it was so hard to find good songs in this time period, the decent ones, I had to list these. That's my preface, but.
Gotcha. I had some ones. Yeah,
Okay.
there were some that were kind of more minor hits that I still think were pretty cool. Do you remember that song Hell by Squirrel Nut Zippers?
Yes.
That In the Afterlife song? I always enjoyed that one.
That's a funny one. Yeah, you can
that
tell
song is weird.
They were going to be like a one.
Yeah, it's a shame because but it was in a time where like that kind of swing gypsy jazz kind of stuff was coming back. And they actually recorded that song's cool. Like they recorded it live in a room with one mic. You know what I mean? And you can hear it. Like you can hear people yelling in the background and stuff. So
that's right. I ended up seeing them at the Middle East, actually.
Oh, that's cool. That was probably fun to see live.
It was fun. It was kind of during that ska. There was like a few ska-ish bands around. I don't love ska.
Horns come in and out of popularity. I don't think the Squirrel Nut Zippers band isn't really like ska.
For some reason, it fits in with them, though. I don't know.
Because it has horns.
It's got horns. Yeah, I think, you know what it is? A buddy from college. So when was that? Actually, when was that? So it must have been, that's why they're at the Middle East.
96.
Yeah, I was probably 98, I would guess, when I saw them. And it's because a buddy's band from college was a ska band that was doing pretty well. And they were like opening for them or something in the Middle East. Yeah.
That's cool.
Who else? There was someone else there that I knew. But yeah, it was all that. Like the Bosstones were kind of bigger and that was kind of happening. Yeah.
Right.
That's actually a decent one that I missed. I should have put that on the list. But I had like that Better Than Ezra song, Good, is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I don't really care for that song.
I think it's all right.
It's all right.
It's good living with you.
Wow. That's a recycled rock tune, right?
It is. Yeah, that was part of that was definitely in the we would perform with that in there. Insane in the Brain, pretty good one from Cypress Hill.
Oh yeah. What year was that from? Was that 93?
I didn't write the year down for this, so I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good tune.
That's a good one. You got Roberta Slick. It's got to be, I think that's 93.
Cool like that.
That's a good one. What do you think about the it's I'm Gonna Be, the Proclaimers song. It's not bad.
Oh, it's fine.
I Walk 500 miles.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right, it's fine.
It's definitely a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, but it's unique. That was a big hit. Cool.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. It holds up actually. I feel like as like a song. Yes. It doesn't sound too dated. I mean, either you like it or you don't. Right. But it doesn't sound like really dated or cheesy. It sounds how it sounds. Now. I think it's fine. It's not my jam.
It's in the decent. That's why I put it in the decent.
What about Novocaine for the Soul by Eels? Do you remember that one? That Before I Sputter Out. Do you remember that song?
I don't remember it.
Oh, you probably remember it if you heard it. They're a cool band. It wasn't a huge hit, but it was definitely on MTV and stuff. It's a good song. It's a good band, actually.
Yeah.
Eels. What else? There's some.
Unity.
What about
Queen Latifah?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. For sure.
That's a good. That's actually one. That's one of that was. It was on my list and it got bumped. Yeah, but that's a good one. It's crazy that she only had one though, because she's just. Yeah. So I know she moved on to acting.
Right.
She's just been in our consciousness forever.
Yeah, totally. I guess that really was her only big song, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
It's a good one though.
Yeah, because she's like culturally, way more involved. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Everyone knows Queen Latifah.
Yeah, seriously.
What about do you remember Scooby Snacks by Fun Loving Criminals? It had like Pulp Fiction samples in it and stuff.
Yeah, I don't like that song.
Okay. I enjoyed it. Just because it's I don't know. I don't know what I like about it, but there's something I like about it.
All right.
But it didn't make my list.
There's Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Natural One by Folk Implosion I had on there. It's Lou Barlow's band from Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah.
But what'd you say? Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yeah. That's
yeah,
all right.
I don't really like that song. It's okay.
Okay, but the interesting thing about that is there's a lot of songs like that, whether it's the Proclaimers, whether Breakfast at Tiffany's, whether it's Good by Better Than Ezra. There's a ton of that style music. And
Marcy Playground, when did that song come out?
Hate that song.
Yeah, me too. I kind of group that into those kind of songs, though.
Yes. Yeah, kind of odd. Like not very like still kind of light rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like light alternative. I don't know how to. It's
light
weird,
alternative.
It's a weird genre.
Yeah.
It's like the adult contemporary version of alternative rock.
Well, let's just get into my worst list because there's a lot of those
Let's do
on
it.
my
There's
worst
a ton
list.
of them. Yeah.
Because then you've got like Flood, Jars of Clay. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah. Oh, I think I blocked that one out.
Yeah. Another one of those bands. Or Roll to Me by Delamitri and Roll to Me. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that one. Yep.
Baby.
Gross.
Right. Same. Right. Or you've got Crash Test Dummies. You know that. Kind of that band.
I like that one just because it was so weird.
Fucking hate it.
And then, but also like speaking of Weird Al did a version of it, that was very good.
Oh, did he have like marbles in his mouth or something?
That was in the Nirvana one.
Oh yeah. What did he do with?
He did like there was like a verse about like John Wayne Bobbitt getting his dong cut off and like it was like of the time, you know what I mean? But it's Weird Al, so it was funny. But yeah, I remember the video from which is also hard to say. They're a weird band. I didn't hate that. I appreciated it. I didn't love the song. I just liked how weird it was. Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
And a Superman song. I mean, the Superman song is a little bit better, honestly. Superman never made any money.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The world from Sodom and Grundy.
Right.
Like good rhyme.
Weird. There's another decent one. What about what's that song? Love Fool by the Cardigans. That's not bad. That's
the Love Me Say That You Love Me. That song. That's not, that almost was in my 5 too. And I don't think that's not a bad one at all. It's got a cool guitar comp. And
it's
got a nice
like
voice.
Yeah, and they got like some like vibraphone going on in there. That's cool. It's a cool arrangement.
It is a cool arrangement. I'll Be There For You, another on my worst list by the
Friends song. The Friends song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That song blows.
Very similar to these styles though. It's very similar.
Well then there's some mega shitty ones like Macarena.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's on my worst list.
How Bizarre by OMC.
I hate that song.
Yeah.
How bizarre. Shut up.
For real.
There's that You Gotta Be song by Des'ree. I hate that song so much.
That's not good.
Oh, you gotta say that You Gotta Be like a million times in a row, and it just drives me nuts.
What about Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks?
Yeah. I almost put that on my top 5 because I was frustrated. I was
there's
like,
not much.
I'm like 40 minutes in, and I'm like, what? I have no songs.
Yeah, what tune?
I guess it's gonna be Cotton Eye Joe. But
what about? Yeah, that one. That one is. I consider that kind of like a novelty song.
Is it very much a novelty song? Yeah.
Same with Scatman by Scatman John. I'm a Scatman. You don't remember that one? Any scats? It was
like Bootsy Bootsy Bop.
Yeah, but not like David Lee Roth. He does like real. You don't remember?
Scatman? Maybe I blocked it out.
Screams at the beginning. I'm a Scatman. It's something. I definitely remember that.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
It's another novelty. Like. Yeah, it is. It's like a novelty tune for sure.
You also had Send Me On My Way. This is the Rusted Root moment too.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that band ever.
No. And they did have the second one. Their second song I liked better, but it didn't chart, I don't think, and that was the Ecstasy song. But again, their vibe is just so.
I didn't like how that band sounded. Like I didn't like it. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't offer anything to me.
How does he not articulate either in his voice? Like,
I don't know. Right. Speaking of marbles in his mouth.
There's no consonants in that shit.
Some people loved that band, and
Some
I
people
just never
loved
got it. I
All
never
the
got it.
hippie chicks from college,
Uh-huh.
with their hippie dresses on and their
And it's not even like real hippie music though. It's like watered down.
It is. Yeah, it's not jam band.
Yeah.
But it occupies that same space with the Spin Doctors. It's kind of the same
Yeah,
thing.
okay. Oh, Spin Doctors is way better than Rusted Root.
I agree. And they're on my don't count list because even though Little Miss Can't Be Wrong is their hit and nothing else charted up to 40, but it didn't. I don't think it hit. think it charted above 40, my friend.
Really?
You can fact check me. You can fact check me.
I believe you, but I feel like they're like one of the rare kind of 2-hit wonder thing. But then they had other minor stuff.
Full of Kryptonite.
Yeah. And they have a Superman song too. Don't they have like Jimmy Olsen's Blues or whatever it's called?
That's Pocket Full of Kryptonite.
Is that the same thing? Oh,
yeah, because like I'm Jimmy. Right. I want to kill Superman because I want Lois.
Right.
That babe is hot.
Was that the name of the album too? Pocket Full of Kryptonite?
Oh, I don't remember. These two princes here before.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like in retrospect, those songs are so bad. I guess Little Miss Can't Be Wrong is probably the best one.
Yeah. As a band, I saw those guys live. It was like a free show or something. As a band, they're really good. Like they can all play.
Tight.
Yeah. I was just
the guitar player's good.
You know?
That lead guitar player,
the bass player is great.
Nice solo too, and Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The band is pretty good. Like they can play. Yeah.
Song's not so good.
No. Well, I mean, they're making big. They're going for hits, right?
I guess, yeah.
But
I guess
they only
John
got
Hopper
one from Blues Traveler was in Spin Doctors for a little bit.
Yes, Hopper was all over the place, right? Him doing Dave Matthews stuff too.
Right.
I hate them. I hate Blues Traveler. I hate his harp playing. It's just like like playing as many notes
just
as
like
he
shredding.
possibly can do, and it's so obnoxious. It's like play melody. How about doing melody? I hated harmonica until I hated it because of him. Because there was then there was this thing after Popper was doing it. Until in 2011, I saw right before the holidays, I saw Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, but they didn't have their new horn. Like, there's a guy from UNH who was there. He was a multi-instrumentalist, played saxophone and clarinet and all a bunch of shit for them. He was away, so they brought their original
a harmonica guy.
He's guy back.
Fucking good.
Monster.
He's really good.
It was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my entire life. I loved that show so much, and that guy he was super fast, but that wasn't it. He was super tasteful.
Totally.
And amazing. I'm like, okay, this instrument's not dead to me. Yes.
Howard Levy.
This guy's great. He was a sick player.
Yeah, he's good.
Sick player. Yeah. I loved it. But anyway, Blues Traveler sucks.
The hook brings you back.
Oh God. Right. Cause that's Pachelbel's Canon, of course. Another one trying to get away with Pachelbel's Canon. You just can't do it. Doesn't work. It's the worst song ever. We've been listening to it for 400 years. The other bad band that I came up with, not a one-hit wonder. In fact, they got way more. They had way more hits than I thought, which is why they're not on this. They're on my worst list, but they're not a one-hit wonder band. That's Collective Soul.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. They had like three or four hits.
Right.
So
they're not a one-hit wonder. I didn't really care for that band either.
What
was their big one? Was that Runaway Train? Was that them?
Oh no. The Runaway Train is the guy who
wait, is that a different band?
Himself. That's a different band. Their big one was
Soul Asylum. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, right. That's Runaway Train. They're big. I just had that's not their big one. That's Light Shine Down or Light or something. They also had December. Don't scream about it. Turn your head now, baby. Just let me out. That one. Right. They had a third one too, which was another. They increasingly got softer and softer, like less rock.
Right.
So, they're a Berkeley band too. The guitar player and singer guys from Berkeley. He's a player, but very watered down music. I wanted to like them too because I'm like, this is kind of a rock band, and there's something there, but then not really. I never liked them.
Oh, what's The World I Know? That was like their ballad one.
Yeah, they got softer and softer.
I
I think that's from their debut had Light Shine Down or Shine Down or whatever that's
Yeah,
called. I think
yeah,
the
that
second one. Yeah.
The second album had the World I Know.
Yeah. And I step to the edge and see the world below. And I'm also, yeah, this is a world. He doesn't have a very good voice either. It's like
No.
you can't, you don't really sell the ballad.
Right. Good point.
So what are we doing? Anyway, tough time period, mid-90s, I
Yeah.
think, in terms of one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
But we got through it. We lived to fight another day, Briggs.
Right. We definitely did.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with this?
No, I think we covered most of them. I mean, there's always more, but
Yeah.
Oh, I Got 5 on It by Loonies. Do you remember that one?
I don't.
I got 5 on it. It's a song about buying weed. It was a big hit. It was top 10.
Damn. I mean, probably if I heard it. Some of these,
If you heard it.
Yeah. I don't know. But I have nothing else with this.
No,
so
me either.
mid-90s, one-hit wonders. I think that's it. So
Yep.
we're gonna have to think about what's gonna happen next. So I'm away as of next Saturday for a week.
Ooh.
And so maybe, I don't know, we're gonna have to figure out what's happening. We might not do a show next week. I'm just breaking this for you right on air. But maybe when I'm away, we can record one, so we can at least have one. I just have to kind of figure that out. But
I'm sure we'll be able to fit it in.
We'll fit something in. But cool. All right. Well, then I guess that's it. Thanks, Briggs.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. And we will see you the next time we do it. Goodbye.
Yeah.